Hi! In this video, you will find out more about Ukraine that will help you understand Ukrainian culture, history, mentality, and traditions better, and get you into the learning's context. Ukraine, here it is. Impressive, right? Before we plunge into the topic, I'm going to make 3 statements. Try to guess whether they are true or false. You'll find out the clues along the video. Ukraine is one of the smallest countries in Europe. There is the world's deepest subway station in Ukraine. Trombita is the loudest and longest wind musical instrument in the world. Ukraine is a country with a prominent and diverse culture, the birthplace of numerous artists and public figures known all around the world. This is what makes it so interesting. The 21st century Ukraine is one of the largest countries in Europe and its geographical center. Ukrainians are talented, hardworking people with a long history of fighting for the independence of the country, which is still taking place. Major historical events unfold from the Middle Ages to the present, embracing the origin and decline of Kievan Rus, the Cossacks' military organization. The Ukrainian experience of World War is fostering democracy and independence in Ukraine, revolutions, and much more. Knowledge, ancient traditions, handicraft, skills, artistic styles, accumulated for centuries, and artistic experience passed from generation to generation all over Ukraine. The Ukrainians are famous for art, wood carving, pottery, decorative painting, weaving, embroidery. Vyshyvanka is the name of the national costume of Ukraine. Blacksmith craft, creation of pisanki, Eastern egg decorated with traditional symbols with wax and paints, and folk dances. Modern Ukraine is a place where hundreds of thousands of talented people live and work. Traditionally, Ukrainian holiday celebration is often accompanied with interesting customs that have passed throughout the centuries. As a rule, Ukrainian youth gladly takes over these traditions. You may delve into the world of Ukrainian culture, participating in the celebration of Christmas on the 25th of December and the 7th of January, listening to Christmas carols, kolyadki, Easter celebrations, Ivana Kupala, that is midsummer celebration, and others. Now, let's have a look at a typical Ukrainian family. Young couples usually marry in their 20s. Most couples today also have a religious ceremony. Nearly half of Ukrainian children do not live in two-parent households. For example, they may live with a mother and grandmother, or even just with their grandparents. For instance, if parents are working abroad to help support the family. Gender roles are actively changing. The patriarchy leaves Ukrainian families. Socializing. When meeting informally, men and women usually wave the hand and give a verbal greeting. Men usually shake hands with each other. A respectful form of address is to use the first name followed by the patronymic. Patronymic refers to a person's father's name. Alexandrovich, Alexander's son. Petrivna, Petro's daughter. Patronymic is used in formal speech, and especially when approaching an elder or unknown person. One of the crucial cultural features is that Ukrainians tend to be more reserved and smile less than Americans, and it's not common to be overly friendly with strangers. Ukrainians often express surprise at how much Americans smile and how familiar they are with strangers. Now, let's talk a little about school and college in Ukraine. Ukrainian schools have just 11-12 grades, and students typically graduate from high school when they are just 16 or 17 years old. While they're in school, Ukrainian students take around 20 subjects. In many Ukrainian schools, the curriculum is more focused on memorization, facts, and drills. Students may not get as many opportunities for project-based learning, creative assignments, and taking initiative in school. In Ukraine, students go to university after high school. The main factor in the Ukrainian admission process is a standardized test called the ZNO, which is kind of like the SAT, but has many more subject areas that students can choose among. The ZNO is the main factor in university admissions, so this is a really important test for Ukrainians and brings a lot of stress. When they apply to university, students choose a major right away and apply directly to a specific department. Their entire university experience is then focused primarily on that subject. This is a challenge since students graduate when they are just 16 or 17, which is really early to make such a big life decision. Ukrainians don't use the term college in the same sense as American. In Ukraine, college means pre-higher education or vocational schools. Despite the fact that there are many stereotypes, myths, and legends about Ukraine and Ukrainians, Do not believe in everything what they say. Stereotype 1. Salo and borscht are considered to be Ukrainian national traditional dishes. And the stereotype that Ukrainians eat it every day is really widespread among the foreigners. Ukrainians do like their national cuisine, but do not eat only those dishes on a daily basis. Stereotype 2. Hospitality is definitely the top of all stereotypes about Ukrainian mentality. This notion certainly has much to do with reality. Since ancient times, guests have been treated with deep respect in Ukraine. Stereotype 3 is not true. Ukrainians do enjoy wearing their national embroidery shirts, but not on the everyday basis. They are usually worn on the big state celebrations. Stereotype 4 is absolutely right. Ukraine is one of the world's most user-friendly countries with a growing global reputation for digital innovation. The first major step towards this goal was the launch of the application. This was created as a tool to reinvent the way Ukrainians interact with the state. There are currently around 17.3 billion DIA users, and hundreds of different digital documents and services are available online throughout the DIA application. Renewable energy is also actively developing in Ukraine, with a big share of solar and wind energy facilities aiming to reduce carbon footprint. Let's learn some interesting facts about Ukraine. Development of marriage diplomacy. Marriage diplomacy is a term closely associated with given Rus state. Dynastic diplomacy was the best way to resolve conflicts peacefully, to consolidate agreements both internationally and domestically. The Grand Prince of Kiev, Yaroslav the Wise, was a supporter of dynastic relations. He based his successful foreign policy not only on the use of armed forces and weapons, but also on diplomatic activities. He relied heavily on dynastic family ties and marriages. His children and close relatives married the first persons and rulers of numerous other countries. Thus, Kievan Rus owed much of its greatness and good reputation in the international arena to its favorable dynastic alliances. Feministic ideas in literature. Lesa Ukrainka was one of the first in Ukrainian literature who addressed the problem of women's emancipation, their life, feelings, and self-esteem in the patriarchal society. She tried to analyze the works of European authors, peculiarities of their perception and depiction of women matters in European literature. On the other hand, Lesa presented her own stance of the issue. World Heritage. Ukraine is home to 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. 6 of them are cultural and 1 natural. These include St. Sophia Cathedral and Lviv's historic center, unique wooden churches in the Carpathians, and the beech forests that surround them. New world capital of clipmaking. Now Kyiv is one of the new world capitals of clipmaking. Dozens of foreign music videos are shot in the Ukrainian capital every year, including world-famous artists and bands. The locations for filming are Kyiv tourist sites, industrial zones, modern buildings, and Ukrainian landscapes that inspire and fascinate. The list of celebrities is quite wide. Among them there are Pink Floyd, 21 Pilots, Bring Me the Horizon, Miley Cyrus, Netta Brazilian, Hertz, and Avicii. Fashion industry. A growing number of fashion designers in Ukraine are demonstrating to the world that the country has a strong creative edge in art and design. World-famous celebrities like Nicki Minaj, Kardashian sisters, singer Grimes, Dua Lipa, Bella Hadid, Demi Moore, and many others choose clothes of Ukrainian production. Thanks to Ukrainian scientists, inventions now known all around the world have been created. The most popular of them include world's largest aircraft. The largest plane in the world was Ukraine's Antonov 225, called Mriya, cargo plane equipped with 6 engines and a massive cargo hold. Unfortunately, the plane was destroyed in Ukraine after the Russian attack in March 2022. First VS-300 helicopter. In 1939, the United States, Ukrainian aircraft designer Igor Sikorsky launched his first VC-300 helicopter. Sikorsky studied at the Kyiv Polytechnic Institute. He is widely considered to be the father of the world helicopter industry. Immune system. Ilya Mechnikov is the father of innate immunity and discoverer of the significance of phagocytosis in development, homeostasis, and disease. Mechnikov was born in 1845 in Ivanivka village, Kharkiv region, and later studied at the Kharkiv University. Genetic code. The findings of renowned American mathematician of Ukrainian descent, George Gamow, played a crucial role in the research. He proposed a mathematical model and introduced a genetic code that shapes combinations of amino acids in the DNA molecule. A popular misconception concerns the similarity of the Ukrainian and Russian languages. Indeed, these languages are related, but distinct like Spanish and Portuguese. At the state level, the Ukrainian language is used, which is officially recognized as the second most melodic language in the world. Let's learn a few Ukrainian phrases. Привіт! Hi! Добрий день! Good day! Як справи? How are you? Добре! Fine! Дякую! Thank you! And here are the answers for our quiz questions. Have you got them right? First one, that's false. Ukraine is the largest country in Europe. Second one, that's true. Kyiv Metro is also home to the deepest subway station in the world, Arsenalna, at 105.5 meters. Third one, that's true. Trombita is the longest Hutsul musical wind instrument inscribed in the Guinness World Records. What is worth mentioning is that there are more than 80 origin folk instruments, like bandura, kobza, sopilka, etc. And all of them are known all over the world. You can tell a lot about Ukraine, but it's better to see and feel it. That is why, welcome to Ukraine!